The tape begins with static. Not the clean kind. Not the comforting white noise people sleep to. This static pulses. Like something is trying to breathe through it. A digital timestamp flickers in the corner of the screen. December 31st, 1999, 11:58 and 47 seconds p.m. A woman's voice whispers, barely audible. If you're watching this, then the countdown didn't work. The camera shakes violently. Somewhere in the background, a crowd is screaming. Not cheering. Screaming. Then the screen glitches. The timestamp freezes. 11 hours 59 minutes and 59 seconds. The numbers flicker. They try to change. They never do. The tape cuts to black. No credits. No explanation. Just silence. And the sound of something heavy hitting the floor. Please subscribe, like and comment where you are watching from. December 31st, 1999. The final night of the millennium. The last seconds of a century soaked in blood, war, miracles, and mistakes. Everywhere on Earth, people were celebrating. Champagne popped. Fireworks lit the sky. Music thundered through cities that refused to sleep. Times Square was packed so tightly you could barely breathe. London glowed gold under exploding fireworks. Sydney had already crossed into the future, and nothing bad had happened. Yet. Television anchors smiled too hard. Their eyes betrayed them. Because behind the glitter. Behind the countdown clocks. Behind the forced laughter. There was a question no one wanted to say out loud. What if the world doesn't survive midnight? They gave it a cute name. Y2K. 2 letters. 1 number. Small enough to laugh at. But the fear behind it was enormous. Most of the world's computers were built lazy. Instead of storing years as 1999, they stored 99. Which meant when the clock struck midnight, computers wouldn't see 2000. They'd see 1900. And panic. Banks. Power grids. Air traffic systems. Nuclear defense networks. All trusting machines that suddenly thought they were 100 years in the past. Engineers warned them. Programmers begged. Governments reassured everyone. We fixed it. But they said that while sweating through their suits. Because no one had ever tested every system at once. And midnight was coming for all of them. Some people didn't believe the reassurance. They believed the end was coming. Across America, basements filled with canned food. Shotguns were cleaned. Water was stored in bathtubs. Families prayed together for the last time. Cults flourished. Self-proclaimed prophets claimed they had decoded the Bible. That midnight wouldn't just crash computers. It would crash reality. One man sold his house, moved his family into the woods, and waited with a shortwave radio. Another locked himself in a bunker and welded the door shut. They weren't afraid of chaos. They were afraid of what would come after. While the public drank and danced, other people watched clocks. Military bunkers. Air traffic control towers. Power grid command centers. Men and women sat in silence, fingers hovering over switches. Some hadn't slept in 48 hours. Every screen showed the same thing. 11:59 p.m. Backup systems were armed. Fail-safes ready. If anything went wrong, they'd have seconds to react. And deep down, everyone in those rooms felt it. That crawling sensation at the base of the spine. The sense that history was holding its breath. The countdown begins. People scream. Hug. Kiss strangers. 10. Fireworks explode. 9. Someone drops a camera. 8. A server somewhere hiccups. 7. A clock in a hospital skips a beat. 6. A power station alarm chirps, then stops. 5. Planes are frozen in holding patterns. 4. The world leans forward. 3. Breath held. 2. The final second approaches. 1. The number doesn't change. Clocks around the world freeze. 11 hours 59 minutes and 59 seconds. Crowds laugh at first, thinking it's a glitch. A joke. Then laughter fades. Fireworks stop mid-burst. Lights flicker. Some go out. Others burn brighter than they should. Phones die. Televisions cut to static. In a hospital in Ohio, every monitor flatlines at once. In Russia, a warning system lights up, then goes dark. In Tokyo, a digital billboard melts into unreadable symbols. And somewhere, a camera keeps recording. People wait. For midnight. For the cheer. For the release. It never comes. Seconds stretch into minutes. Minutes feel wrong. Time itself feels damaged. Someone screams. A baby won't stop crying. A man looks at his watch and whispers. Why isn't it moving? And for the first time that night, the realization hits. The countdown didn't reach 0.
If you are still here, please don't forget to subscribe, like and share to your friends.
The cheering was supposed to last minutes. Instead, it died in seconds. Across cities, confusion replaced celebration. People stared at one another, waiting for someone, anyone, to explain why time had stalled. Phones showed no signal. Landlines rang endlessly with no answer. Radios hissed like they were breathing. News stations cut back from commercials. And never returned. Bars turned their lights on. Police sirens screamed, then cut out mid-wail. And slowly, a horrifying truth spread through the crowd. Nothing is updating anymore. Not the clocks. Not the screens. Not the world. At 12:07 a.m., the White House released a statement. It appeared briefly on emergency broadcast channels. Just text. No audio. No video. Minor synchronization issues are affecting select digital systems. There is no cause for concern. The message repeated every 30 seconds. Identical. Word for word. Punctuation perfect. Too perfect. Engineers watching noticed something strange. The timestamp on the message. Still read 11 hours 59 minutes and 59 seconds. Inside control rooms, panic had already begun. Power grids weren't failing. They were refusing commands. Operators flipped switches. Nothing happened. Then, everything happened at once. One grid surged to 140%. Another dropped to 0. Then both froze. Air traffic controllers watched radar stop moving. Planes didn't disappear. They hung there. Suspended. As if the sky itself had paused. A technician whispered. That's not a crash. That's a lock. In Frankfurt, a bank's backup system activated. It wasn't supposed to. The system began printing transaction logs. Thousands of pages. All dated January 1st, 2000. But the transactions haven't happened yet. Accounts drained. Accounts credited. Entire corporations marked as defunct. One line stood out. Repeated on every page. Time offset, unresolved. The printers overheated. Paper jammed. The room filled with the smell of burning ink. Most cameras shut off. A few didn't. Security cameras in malls. Traffic cams on highways. A baby monitor in Iowa. They kept recording. But playback revealed something wrong. People moved. But not smoothly. They jittered. Skipped frames. Sometimes repeated the same step over and over. Like corrupted video files. Except this wasn't video. This was real life.
Online forums were still active. Barely. Posts duplicated themselves. Replies appeared before questions. Some users claimed they could see posts dated hours in the future. Others reported their keyboards typing on their own. One message appeared everywhere at once. No username. No timestamp. Just text. Stop counting. IT doesn't like that. The message was deleted. Then reposted. Then burned into server logs that refused to erase. Not everyone noticed the systems. Some felt it in their bodies. A pressure behind the eyes. A ringing in the ears. The sense of being watched, from inside time itself. Children cried uncontrollably. Animals went silent. Dogs refused to move. Birds fell from the sky mid-flight. A woman in New Jersey collapsed screaming. It skipped us. It skipped something. No one knew what she meant. Everyone knew she was right. At 12:34 a.m., a second statement appeared. This time, globally synchronized. Every channel. Every frequency. A calm male voice spoke. The millennium transition has been successful. All systems are operating normally. Behind the audio, engineers noticed something chilling. The waveform wasn't human. Perfectly flat. No breath. No fluctuation. Just sound pretending to be a voice. This wasn't failure. This wasn't chaos. This was containment. Something had happened at midnight. Something no system could process. So they froze it. Locked time at the last safe second. 11 hours 59 minutes and 59 seconds. Because whatever waited at zero was worse than breaking the world. Please like and subscribe. It didn't happen all at once. At first, it was subtle. A man in Chicago blinked. And his eyes stayed closed a second too long. A woman in Paris turned her head. But her reflection didn't. People began noticing delays. Not lag. Desynchronization. Mouths moving before words came out. Footsteps echoing before feet hit the ground. Some people moved normally. Others looked like badly rendered characters in a broken game. And the worst part? They didn't know it was happening to them. Shadows were next. Streetlights cast them wrong. Too long. Too sharp. Sometimes facing the wrong direction. In one recording, a man walks under a lamp. His shadow doesn't follow. It stays behind. Watching. Then, slowly, it lifts its head. Public countdown clocks were supposed to shut off. Some didn't. They flickered back on. Still stuck at 11 hours 59 minutes and 59 seconds. But now the numbers were wrong. Segments missing. Digits half-lit. Red pixels dripped downward like melting wax. In Times Square, someone screamed. It's leaking. Security footage shows people backing away as the clock's glow stains the pavement beneath it. The numbers pulse. Like a heartbeat. Children always do. A 6-year-old boy in Toronto asked his mother, "Why is the future loud?" She laughed nervously. Then asked what he meant. He covered his ears. "It's screaming because it can't get in." He refused to look at clocks ever again. Neither did his sister. She said the numbers were blinking in patterns. Like Morse code. Some people weren't affected. They moved freely. Normally. Too normally. They didn't panic. Didn't question the clocks. Didn't react to the silence. They just kept walking. Police reports described them as calm and compliant. Witnesses used another word. Empty. A woman followed one for 3 blocks before realizing. He didn't blink. Inside houses, things got worse. A man poured a drink. It refilled itself. A woman heard her doorbell ring. Every 30 seconds. Exactly 30. A family sat down to eat. And realized they'd already eaten. The food was cold. The plates dirty. No one remembered doing it. At 12:58 a.m., a signal broke through. Not emergency broadcast. Not television. Not radio. It came through everything. Phones. Speakers. Baby monitors. Even powered-off devices. A voice spoke. Layered. Multiple tones at once. This is a hold point. A pause. The 0 is unstable. Another pause. Do not advance. Then silence. Every device shut down afterward. Permanently. Disappearances weren't dramatic. No screams. No flashes. People simply weren't there anymore. A chair still warm. A door still open. Footsteps ending mid-sidewalk. In one apartment building, an entire floor vanished. Not collapsed. Not destroyed. Gone. Like it was never rendered. Mirrors became dangerous. Reports flooded in. Reflections blinking out of sync. Smiling when the person wasn't. Moving closer, on their own. One man shattered his bathroom mirror after seeing his reflection mouth words he didn't say. Security audio captured him screaming. "Stop rehearsing me." An internal memo circulated briefly before deletion. 3 words highlighted in bold. Time is observing. Not flowing. Not broken. Watching. Like a system paused mid-decision. Waiting to see what humans would do next. And whether they deserved to reach 0. Someone tried restarting the countdown. They shouldn't have. In Las Vegas, a hacked billboard switched from 11 hours 59 minutes and 59 seconds to midnight. For half a second. Every screen nearby went black. Every person within a mile collapsed. When power returned. The billboard read. Attempt logged. No one tried again. By now, everyone felt it. That pressure. That presence. Like standing at the edge of something massive and unseen. Time wasn't stopped. It was paused on purpose. And whatever lived beyond zero was listening. If you are still here, please don't forget to subscribe, like and share to your friends. At 1:41 a.m., someone tried anyway. Not a civilian. Not a hacker. A coalition task force, quietly assembled minutes after the freeze. Their plan was simple. Force time forward. Atomic clocks don't lie. They override everything. If anything could drag the world into the year 2000, it was them. They synchronized 6 atomic clocks across 3 continents. Issued the command. And watched. For the first time that night. 11 hours 59 minutes and 59 seconds flickered.
The clocks didn't move forward. They moved sideways. Numbers scrambled. Digits stacked on top of each other. Every screen in the room showed a different time. Some showed dates that never existed. Some showed nothing at all. One monitor briefly displayed midnight. And then every person in the room screamed. Not in fear. In pain. As if something had suddenly noticed them noticing it. The data recovered from that moment was buried. But fragments leaked. 0 wasn't a moment. It wasn't a second. It was a boundary. A compression point. The place where all timelines collapsed into a decision. And something on the other side rejected the input. Humans weren't denied entry. They were quarantined. After the blink, the screaming started. Not from people. From the environment. Metal groaned. Buildings vibrated. Trees bent toward nothing. Microphones across the world picked up the same sound. A low-frequency howl. Too slow to be speech. Too patterned to be random. Engineers translated it into readable data. It said, "Stay here." A few people claimed they could see beyond it. That the sky wasn't dark. It was unfinished. That behind the stars, there was scaffolding. Grids. Loading structures. One man wrote in a notebook non-stop for hours. When they found him, he was catatonic. The last thing he wrote. 0 isn't the future. 0 is exposure. By 2:30 a.m., the decision was made. The world would never know. Officially, Y2K was a success. Minor glitches. Exaggerated fears. Laughable paranoia. Every video showing the freeze was confiscated. Every forum post scrubbed. Every report reclassified. The phrase, temporal arrest, was erased from all systems. Replaced with one word. Anomaly. Some never resensed. They survived. But wrong. They aged strangely. Spoke about events before they happened. Refused to celebrate birthdays. One woman cried every New Year's Eve. Not from fear. From guilt. She kept saying, "We were supposed to stop counting forever." Most clocks were reset. Analog. Manual. Safe. But some digital clocks were never touched. Hidden away. Locked in evidence rooms. Bunkers. Basements. They still display the same thing today. 11 hours 59 minutes and 59 seconds. Still powered. Still waiting. Still warm to the touch. What happens if time unfreezes? If 0 finally arrives? The data suggests it already tried. And didn't like what it saw. Midnight wasn't delayed. It was aborted. And next time, There may not be a hold point. Morning eventually came. Sunlight felt wrong. Too sharp. Too late. People went to work. Kids went to school. The world pretended nothing happened. But deep down, everyone knew. Time didn't move forward that night. It just learned how to wait. Please don't forget to subscribe, like and share.
The year 2000 arrived. Officially. Calendars flipped. Paperwork updated. History books moved on. But something subtle followed humanity forward. Every January 1st felt hollow. Celebrations felt forced. The moment midnight hit, people cheered too late, or too early. Fireworks felt premature. Like everyone was afraid of the exact second. No one could explain why. They just felt it. That itch in the back of the mind. That sense that the world had already used up its last real countdown.
Every year since 1999. At 11:59 and 59 seconds p.m., something small happens. A skipped second. A frozen phone. A watch that ticks twice. Security cameras drop a single frame. Always the same frame. A smear of motion. Like reality flinching. Scientists call it coincidence. Engineers don't talk about it. Some people never forgot. They refuse to celebrate New Year's. Refuse countdowns. Refuse clocks entirely. They cover mirrors. They unplug devices. They sit in silence during the last minute of the year. Because they remember the pressure. The watching. The sense that if humanity counts wrong again, something will answer. In 2016, a tape surfaced. Uploaded anonymously. No title. No description. Just a timestamp burned into the footage. December 31st, 1999, 11 hours 59 minutes and 59 seconds. It shows a control room. Alarms blaring. People screaming. Then silence. A voice, quiet, terrified, whispers. It's not broken. It's waiting. The video ends before 0. Comments were disabled. The account deleted. But copies exist. Hidden. Circulating. Waiting to be found. One report escaped deletion. 3 paragraphs long. No logos. No signatures. The final line reads: Time did not fail on December 31st, 1999. It made a decision. What that decision was is redacted. 0 wasn't delayed. It wasn't broken. It was rejected. Because reaching 0 means acknowledging the end of something. And whatever lives beyond that moment wasn't done watching. Midnight didn't happen. It was denied access. And the denial is still active. Experts quietly agree on one thing. Time won't hold forever. The pause wasn't permanent. It was a delay. And when the countdown finally reaches 0, it won't be a celebration. It will be a release. If you're watching this close to midnight, you might feel it. That pressure. That hesitation before the last second. The urge to look away from the clock. That's not superstition. That's memory. Your brain remembers what history was told to forget. So when the countdown starts, maybe don't say 0. Maybe stop at 1. Because the last time humanity reached for 0, something reached back. New Year's Eve 1999 never ended. It's still counting. And the moment it finishes, we won't be here to see it. Please don't forget to subscribe, like and share.